Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. We eat sandwiches and play games. Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. A podcast for everyone's day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Taste of Dragons, the Toddcast, the video game podcast that all you backup snappers listen to. And this week, it's another bonus episode, everyone. Summer of bonus.
Bonus. Summer of bonus episodes.
Is a backup snapper someone who's backing up other snappers, or in the back snapping, or both?
Thank you.
I think it could be either or.
Okay.
I imagine myself in like there's like the Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, and you have like the backup dancers.
Right.
But I'm just a snapper, and that's all I do.
You only snap.
You have backup
but if
singers.
someone was backing you up, what would you call them?
The backup snappers? Like
I was thinking a backup snapper was like an understudy snapper.
Yeah.
Like you've got your normal
I'm ready
snappers,
to go on.
right? And then there's like a person in the background who's like, they're like waiting for their time.
He knows all the snaps,
right?
But he's never
they're
had
in it.
his moment.
Right.
Yeah.
West Side Story probably had some backup snackers.
I bet.
Some backup snappers.
I take it back. I don't want to be a backup snapper. I definitely want to be a backup snacker.
I think I may have already. I think I majored in that in college. Actually, backup snapping.
That's what we call our guests on Taste of Dragons, is backup snackers.
Hey, if we ever get like a Patreon or something like that, we can call them snacker backers.
Oh gosh, write that down.
Snacker backers at it.
Taste that.
But as always, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
Amanda.
And I'm Joe.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, no Hassel this week, but, you got us four. And
Big virtual hugs to
Absolutely.
Hey, buddy.
Absolutely. But we're also in person.
Hey.
Four of us. Yeah. Amanda and I are COVID free. We've done the testing. We've cleansed the house and our auras.
Burnt some sage.
You can smell it right now, baby. It
You
smells
joke, but
earthy.
we did do that. No, it was good. We got new toothbrushes, and we washed our sheets
Man,
and
I
all
got
of the other stuff.
a charcoal toothbrush.
Okay,
Really?
I mean, like, I don't know if it does anything that other toothbrushes don't do, but it is, I almost cursed. It's a goth as heck toothbrush. It's like that.
This is the most hot topic phrase like on a t-shirt. I want that on a t-shirt. I'm goth as heck.
It is charcoal and purple colored, and it makes me very happy.
It's pretty dope.
It's a very pretty
It looks like
toothbrush.
Shredder, the toothbrush.
Yeah. Oh, man. I should, like, glue spikes onto it.
Do it.
I mean,
be
then you gotta
careful.
hold
I was going to say,
it.
which side are you going to put it on?
Obviously, the handle, guys.
Okay.
And what's great is not too long ago, we got the charcoal toothpaste. So I'm wondering if you're going to pair those two together and just have an entire
how would
furnace.
I be able to tell the toothpaste from the toothbrush? I would
I-
just swallow the
it'd be the same
toothbrush.
thing.
For my own safety, I don't think I'm going to do that.
So would that be goth as hecking heck?
I think the modern vernacular is goth AF.
Oh,
Okay, I got you, guys.
I'm going to
yeah.
be saying goth as heck later tonight.
Is that Joe? It's goth AH now, okay?
AH, right? Goth
No. Joe's right. Goth AF is what I was going to say, and then had to subtract.
Yeah, but the revision is better. It's
perfect.
I like your revision.
But yeah, I think this week, Joe, you have our starting question.
Damn, Joe, look at you putting some thought into this. Well done.
Right? Every once in a while, I use my brain. It's awesome. Instead of my eyes and my ears only. I figured it might be fun for us to reminisce for a moment. Are there any boss fights that live rent-free in your mind? I mean, like the boss that took forever, or the boss that like it hurt you the most to hurt them, like the boss that took the longest. What boss lives rent-free in your mind?
That is a tough one, Joe.
I'm waiting to go because I have way too many. So I don't.
I'm going to go with, you guys know mine's going to be from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
And it's because
Boo.
Emerald Weapon always lives rent-free in my mind. And the reason why is because every single time I replay the game, it's rent-free because I completely forget to get the item that you need in order to make it a lot easier on yourself every single time. So as soon as I get to it, I'm like, I already passed that part. That's the only part you can get it on.
Damn it.
And, well, I guess I only got 20 minutes to try to beat him. Whereas if you get the underwater materia, you have unlimited time, and it's a lot easier.
I totally missed all of those weapons when I played that game because they're optional. They're kind of secretive. You kind of have to find them out. I think one shows up in the story.
Yes, Ultima weapon shows up in the story. Yeah.
And they're just these huge like kaiju type like bosses that are just roaming this land in Final Fantasy VII. Have almost nothing to do with the plot. but
they do if you dig deep down.
You're right. Yeah,
they shoot out of the
Earth's defense against the aliens from ancient times. So I remember many years later being on like a forum or something, and people were talking about these awesome weapons that are in Final Fantasy VII. I'm like, no, there's not. You got that one in the game, like in the story, but that's like nothing. It doesn't really play a deal. They're like, no, this one. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't even have a concept that games had secrets at this point because I'm in middle school. I'm like 13, 14 years old, and I'm starting to hear about all these secret things. I'm like, well, how do I get that? And I get to like replay the entire game just to get, and then like grind your characters to like their 99th level just to find those.
To make it easier, yeah.
Oh.
I am glad that you don't see as much of that. That's definitely something in older video games. It's like, oh, did you beat this level? Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Did you get the secret? Oh, no, I didn't know about that. Guess you're going to have to start the game over. Wait, what? Yeah, did you get that Skulltula before the sunset? Yeah, you're never going to be able to get that. I hope you wanted to play Ocarina of Time 7 times.
I feel like there's some games now where they'll have the secret stuff, but where they're modernized, it's like you may have missed it, but they'll give you a chance to go back and then go get it.
Or like whereas, you can just replay this chapter, or like, hey, that area that you beat is now open and you can just free explore.
Yeah. Whereas you're right. Those old games are like, oh, you missed it. It's just gone.
Or if they do it, it's usually a short game. It's usually like, hey, this whole game's 3 hours, and the whole point is to play it over and over again.
But the Final Fantasy weapon bosses, they just don't show up kind of till the end game.
Correct.
Area.
Yeah. They show up towards the very end, towards the end of disc 2, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, like Emerald weapon is the one that's underneath the water, so you only get it if you're in the submarine. Ruby weapon is only in the desert around the Golden Core. I always want to say the Golden Corral, but it's not.
it's an anime casino.
It is. So, but
with
it's
a buffet?
Oh, they got a great buffet there.
Oh,
everything you want. Sloppy though. Could be a little tidier. Yeah.
Hey, they also have a hotel with ghosts, though. I mean, you can't top that.
I mean, the only way to top a hotel with ghosts is a hotel that also makes chocolate for ghosts.
That's a game coming out soon.
That is
isn't
a game
it?
But I feel like there's
so
a way
excited.
to add to that game too, and if you just add Luigi to it, I feel like you're just right.
Do you know that it was this week that I finally understood what Luigi's like thing was with that game? Because Luigi's running around, he has he fights with a vacuum, right?
Yeah. The Poltergeist 3000,
Yeah, the Poltergeist 3000. And I was like, oh, what a fun idea. And I just thought of it just being a Luigi thing. I didn't realize he was just doing a Ghostbusters spoof.
Yeah.
It's a freaking Ghostbusters spoof. Why did I just realize this week when someone was talking about Luigi? I was like, oh,
what
a funny joke.
Troy, it's a dustbuster for ghosts.
Damn it. I'm so angry at myself. It's so obvious. And it's ghosts. Oh, sorry.
We all have blind spots, Troy. It's fine. It happens.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, that's mine. It's always the weapons, or Emerald weapons specifically from Final Fantasy VII.
I don't know if I have like a boss fight that sits in my brain because it was difficult or because it took a long time or because like it was just like really iconic. But I can say the boss that I've probably fought the most is the first boss in my first-ish boss in Dark Cloud 2, because that is the game that I have played more times than any other game. I always play like 75% of it, and then I get bored and I do something else, and then I'm like, oh, I should play more of that game. I have beaten it before, but like every time I pick it back, it's an amazing game. But that clown robot with all of the legs and it's got the big hands, and then it's not even very difficult. I have just seen that cinematic of you fighting that clown robot probably 25 times. I have just...
You're absolutely right, because when I went to replay it, because I bought it for the PlayStation 4 on the PlayStation Network, I downloaded it and I was playing it, and as I was going through it, I was like, I kind of remember this, I kind of don't, and then it got to the boss sequence. I was like, oh my god, I remember every single portion of this boss fight, because it's the exact same thing. I would play a whole bunch of it. It's great. Yeah, it's great.
And there's the elephant.
Yeah. And it's just one of those like, oh my god, I do remember this. Jeez.
But I guess props to them. It's a very iconic boss fight. Very easy to remember. But I think one of the best parts is I didn't buy Dark Cloud 2 when I first played it. It was one of the times where my family would go to Blockbuster and everyone was allowed to get something. And you could get
Everyone
a movie
gets
or a
one
video game, but you
thing.
could get one thing. It didn't matter, but it was only one. So I got the Dark Cloud to play, which is not a great Blockbuster game because it's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
I'm so curious what your parents thought when you're 9 years old bringing this thing called Dark Cloud.
I don't
to
think I was
them.
9.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember how old I was, but I was probably like 15 or something. I don't care.
Yeah, no, your parents are cool like that.
I think
Yeah.
the cover was really
I had
nice
very
looking,
little
actually.
oversight. Yeah.
It was very Final Fantasy. Like the cover of it looked like,
Yeah.
just cloud with like it looked like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
Memory serves
very
me right.
like round, cartoonish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, "Are you feeling okay, hon? Do you have like Dark Cloud you want to talk about?
No.
What's going on?"
That's
What's going on,
assuming
Amanda?
my family talks about feelings. That's funny. So I get my copy of the Dark Cloud 2, and then I come home to play it. And then that night, because apparently it was movie night, we got Pizza Hut pizza. And I have those two memories are connected forever. Every time I play Dark Cloud, I'm like, am I going to get Pizza Hut pizza?
Seriously?
I don't even like Pizza Hut pizza anymore. No offense if you enjoy Pizza Hut pizza. But we have some really nice local pizza places.
Yeah.
We never get
Right,
Pizza
right,
Hut.
right.
But every time I open Dark Cloud, I'm like, I should get some pizza.
Yeah,
I
you
should
should get
some
like a
Pizza
personal
Hut
pan pizza, yeah.
I wonder if they would sell me stuffed crust. Do they still do that? Maybe I should get some
I'm
stuffed
gonna have to
crust.
low key test this theory one day when you're out at yoga or something. I'm just gonna put Dark Cloud on inside the house. So when you come in and you see Dark Cloud on screen to see if you just order pizza.
I'm like, we should get pizza tonight.
You're like, yes, it worked.
You should play
my
Dark
great
Cloud.
experiment. I tried. I played about 2 hours of it, 2 or 3 hours of it.
Okay, so you
we
should
got through
actually
it.
try playing Dark Cloud. 'Cause 2 or 3 hours is that's like inserting the disc.
So you watched some opening cinematics. Okay.
yeah.
No, I got into some serious crafting. I did a lot of dungeon crawling in a sewer, I believe.
Yeah.
That's like you getting a scratch off and then trying to find a coin, finding one, and then just be like,
I got to the main base where you start doing all the hardcore crafting and
You
whatnot.
did not get to the main base.
Oh, maybe I got to a house where you can start doing that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was. I remember it was great, and I could feel why it was great, but I wasn't able to get over the aging hump, just
Aging?
mechanically, just it plays like an old school game, which is great. I'm just not good getting my mind over that.
yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm
deeply
I
offended.
I need to get out of here right now, guys.
Troy, you got it. So, Troy, what is your boss?
I've made a huge mistake. Dark Cloud's the most amazing game that's ever been made, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
There you go.
And you're gonna play it. It's gonna be
freaking
great.
perfect.
We'll
Got
play
it.
it at the same time.
Done.
You're entitled to your opinion.
I'm going to talk on behalf of our good friend Hassel, who is not here today on the podcast, our dragon podcaster, because I know for sure he would probably, very confident person, say a boss battle from one of the Metal Gear Solid games.
Is it the one where you change the thing to the other thing?
I think he
Is it
Psycho
the one where you play
Mantis.
soccer and FIFA instead? Is there a big boss in
just
FIFA?
Rocket League.
Rocket League actually is a pretty good description of one of the boss fights. The
You know what?
helicopter
In Metal
is
Gear?
pretty much just Rocket League.
Yes, those boss fights. Metal Gear, the franchise, is just a factory for memorable boss fights.
Yes.
I think, because they're just outlandish and cray.
Yeah.
But yes, I think Psycho Mantis would maybe one of them.
Okay.
The one where you have to switch the ports and it's reading your memory cards and you're like, get out of my head, and it's it's literally guessing what you're going to do before you're doing it.
That is really
Genius.
good, yeah.
Big time.
I see you enjoy Sonic 64.
Yes, I read the Nintendo 64 memory card somehow.
I said Sonic and I realized I don't know the names of any Sonic game because after you've said Sonic, does it matter?
I did
Does it
actually
matter?
do love that because you said Sonic, which is a Sega game.
Yeah.
And then you said the 64, which is a Nintendo game,
Yep.
and it's a Metal Gear Solid game, which
Yep.
is out of PlayStation.
Yep.
I think you hit all the bases.
It's great.
That's how terrifying Psycho Mantis is.
It is.
Yep. Psycho Mantis
Actually,
knows.
that would be genuinely terrifying.
That did happen when I played Metal Gear Solid on the GameCube, Twin Snakes version, and then he was like, "Yeah, I see you're playing Star Fox Adventures in Dinosaur Land," or like whatever that game was. And I was like, "Hey man, don't shame me. Get out of here, dude." But then I thought maybe maybe go for the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, where you're Old Man Snake fighting against Old Man Ocelot, which is like the big bad of the entire series. And you guys just duking it out like old school wrestlers, just shot for shot. It's such a culmination. It's
Ocelot
such a
the
seminal
cowboy?
moment. He's like, yeah, he's the cowboy who's like, thinks that he's your brother, but it's like,
He
he's
shot that
using,
lady,
like,
but then she wasn't actually
psycho.
dead, and then,
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all types of weird stuff. But it comes down to just two old dudes shirtless punching each other, and that's just fun. But then I remember Hassel's favorite Metal Gear game, which is Metal Gear Solid 3.
Okay.
And I think for a fact, very confident, that Hassel would pick his favorite boss battle, the one that actually has the boss in it, which is the person who trained Solid Snake, the lady with the fatigues and the blonde hair, who's literally called the boss.
Yeah.
And I think that would be Hassel's favorite boss battle. Hassel, at me. Let me know if I got it right. Viewers at home, take a poll on which of these three boss fights you think this could be. Let us know in the Discord channel. We'll have real prizes. Not really.
I feel like your description of which boss would be Hassel's favorite boss in lieu of him being
Yes.
here while running through all of the Metal Gear Solid games
Yes.
was just as confusing as playing a Metal Gear Solid game.
So mission achieved.
Yeah.
That was a compliment.
That was a compliment.
Yeah.
I really felt like we were on a Metal Gear journey, and I was like, "Wow, this really would be like we were talking about Metal Gear." I wonder which boss it is because they all sound like it goes from this one to that one to this one, but this is the real one. But they're called the boss.
At one point, I thought I understood, and then you changed it, and then it was like, oh no, now I see.
Also, don't forget the one from Snake Eater where you could just leave the game on for a week straight and he will die of old age.
Yeah. So good. You don't have to do that sniper battle.
Nope.
Just leave the console on.
He's
For a
just dead.
week?
Yeah,
for a week.
or you could set your like time
Internal
time,
clock,
yeah.
internal clock to skip.
But yeah,
ahead.
for 1 week he'll
you go back in and
he'll
she's
be
like,
dead. You'll come across his body. It's pretty great.
Kojima, yo.
Yeah.
He knows how to do it.
Yeah.
And then Joe, what about you?
All right, so I have it's an interesting toss up for me. I have one that I have complained about for years. And I have one that's fairly new that actually sparked this idea.
Okay.
So the honorable mention is going to go to Kena Bridge of Spirits.
All right.
I was listening to somebody literally complain about the end boss in that game.
Oh my God.
For like a good half an hour, this person complained about how this was the hardest boss they'd played in their whole life. They were like, I play Souls games for fun. And they're like, this boss was the most ridiculous thing that I've ever had to do. And because the mechanics weren't exactly quite perfect in it,
Yeah.
it was very difficult.
And it was a
remember.
spike. The difficulty
Oh, it
was
was
like infinitely
massive.
more difficult than it was, 30 seconds before that battle.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then they complained about how everything on the inside of the battle, when the boss would change different phases, you were fighting the other bosses in between the boss battle.
Yep.
So I thank
Ridiculous.
this lady. It was amazing listening to her complain about something that I had that it does live rent free in my brain. I do think back to that battle every once in a while and think, man, those cute little things had no business being so evil. But like, all right, cool. But for me, I think the one that lives rent free in my mind and it comes up constantly in my brain as I play other games is the succubus boss from Neo.
Oh yeah.
I got so angry while playing, and this is early in the game. It's only like maybe if you have 6 islands to get to and there's like 20 things in each island, it's only like island 2. It's like halfway through island 2. So you're not even in the game that much, but there's a succubus. She is the end boss of this one area.
Are we talking like giant succubus or like
No, like
human-sized?
a really cool looking badass lady with like super long nails, and she's floating and flying, and she has electricity powers, and she can also stun
yeah.
you and give you paralysis, which is not the same thing as being
Shocking.
poisoned, because she can also do poison, but if you have armor that takes away poison, it does nothing for paralysis or lightning. Things that happen in Souls games. Souls likes. But Neo 2 was Neo 1 was an amazing game. And I loved Neo. And I probably threw more controllers during the week I fought that one boss than I have my whole life.
Wow.
And then on top of that, I stopped playing the game for a year. I loved this game and I couldn't do it anymore. I as people who have listened before will know, Or maybe you're new and you'll be like, wow, that's crazy. I don't change anything. Once I pick what I like because cosmetically I think it looks good, that's what I play with.
Yeah.
So like, maybe I wasn't wearing the right armor. Maybe I didn't have a really dope sword. Maybe I didn't level anything up because I don't even read the level up system of things. I just play games because that's how they go. Maybe some of this is on me. But that succubus, she would get up into the air. She would swing down on you and just paralyze you. She would throw her nails at you and stab you. And she was really fast. And I was not very good at dodging because I did not realize that my heavy armor wasn't a good thing. And I was like, huh, so that's what that is. I'm rolling badly, so I can't get out of the way. It took a year. I stopped playing for a whole year. I was talking to one of my friends and I was like, hey, did you ever finish that Neo game? Because I refuse to look anything up. I'm not going to look up how you beat the boss. I'm just, it's not my thing. But after about a week and a half, I was like, I'm going to break more controllers. I need to stop. I'm getting too mad about this. I asked a friend about a year later, you ever beat that game? And he's like, yeah. I was, yeah. I got really tired after the succubus lady. I'm like, you didn't like her either? And he's like, yeah, she was really annoying. I had to change my armor. And I was like, you what now? What did you do? And he's like, yeah, I had to change my armor and make it so that she wasn't paralyzing me anymore and causing paralysis. And I was like, is the paralysis different than the poison in the game? And he's like, yeah, totally different. And I'm like, Oh no. So I went back into the game, changed my armor. I just took it off, actually. I didn't change it. I just took armor off. And then I decided I was going to use those potion things that make it so that you can't be paralyzed as badly.
Oh, there you go.
It didn't take that long. It was maybe like a half an hour worth of figuring out what to do. And I was like, wow.
I'm getting the full picture why this lives rent free in your brain.
It does.
It hits on both sides.
It hurts. This one hurts. I have talked to other people about this game. She is one of the bosses that it kicks up pretty high immediately. Yeah. Like they make it harder.
It's a difficulty spike. Yeah.
So it's a spike. There's 2 bosses that happen in the first 2 islands or first 2 areas, and one of them was another one that took me probably a good 3 or 4 days to beat because I refused to stop trying. And I should just stop trying a lot sooner and just walk away for a little bit. But the controllers, I wouldn't have so many pretty controllers if I did that. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
Right? It's a nice way to look at how your controllers don't last that long. It's okay.
It's fine.
It's fine. The TV survived, okay?
The boss that is in my head that I think about every once in a while is one that psychologically got to me. Okay. So it's not necessarily like I spent a lot of time on it, not like some of those, Final Fantasy bosses that could take a long time or anything, but it's just like psychologically how I did it. And it's from Undertale. Have you guys played Undertale?
Yeah.
So spoiler warning, we're talking about the boss here. So let's spoiler about Undertale. You play that game once, and it's a kind of an RPG fighting game or whatever. You can fight battles if you choose to.
Yeah, or you can pacify.
You can pacify.
When you play it the first time around, I didn't know there was really an option. So I took down a couple wolves here or there, and then I beat the game and thought, oh, what a cool game. Wasn't that long, but I really enjoyed the art style. I enjoyed the story. And then I heard, and then at the end they're like, hey, but you took, why'd you take down these wolves? And I was like, you know what? No problem. Let me start the game over and then not take down anybody. And just be really just pacifist, as you said.
Yep.
I'll play the game again. I enjoyed it that much. I know where everything is. It'll be fun and quick and easy. And I did that. Had another great time playing through it, going through the jokes. It's a funny game. It's a really ingenious kind of game. I got to the end again, and and I'm ready to like just be lovely and just like pacify. In the way you kind of pacify, you kind of dodge, and then you kind of in the battle learn about that person, and then you can pick options to like help them or like give them a hug or do something that kind of solves this puzzle so that you don't have to fight them anymore. Mm-hmm. So I do that with the last boss, and then once again spoilers. The last boss is like, oh, okay, cool. This is how you beating the game. But what? You think we didn't remember the first time you played this game? And I'm like, excuse me? And they're like, yeah. Well, you think you could just go and hurt people and then pretend it didn't happen and then try to do everything the right way, and then you're just going to win this game? And I was like, I thought so. And they're like, well, no, it doesn't work that way. And then you can continue to go forward, and I start going through this battle, and it's like bullet hell. There's lots of things coming at you. You're moving around. And the entire time, the boss level's just like the boss who's talking to you. I think the name is like Asir Gregor. It's some name.
Something.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun name. And the entire time they're just like throwing philosophy at you of the weight of meaning and like persistence and like what it means to give up and what it means to like be accountable for your actions. And at a certain point, the person's like, no, you don't get to redo this, and they just kick you out of the game. Like I'm playing on PC and I'm doing this fight and I'm like, no, I'm going to be good. I'm going to finish this. And then they're just like, no. And then they just knock you back to the desktop.
Yep.
And you have to actually go back into the game, reopen it, get back there. And they're like, why are you back? This is over. And you kind of have to like play this mind game with this boss to get to the end. And I'll leave the rest up to you how you get to the end and whatnot. But like just that moment where they were just like, they broke that fourth wall and they were just like, you think this is a game? I was like, stop looking at me. Yes,
I did.
That is just, I think about just how smart of a design choice that was.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dang. So good. So interesting.
Yeah. That specific design was among the many reasons why it is so highly regarded, with how it just messes with you, the player, but then it's still in game doing it. Yeah. And it's just so smart.
Yeah.
So well done. But yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. And now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Nintendo Partner Showcase that was this week. And it was like 25 minutes, 24 minutes, something like that. And it showed off games from everybody but Nintendo for the Switch.
Yeah, everyone comes to this party except Mario. Actually, fine,
Yep.
he can come too.
Yeah, he can come too, but he's got to be in another game that we're not
Somehow
making.
he made his way into this.
One of the fun things about this, though, was that Nintendo announced beforehand, it was only a few days beforehand, but they were basically saying, hey, we're going to do a partner showcase direct, and we want to make it very clear right now, there will be no Nintendo first-party games mentioned. So set your expectations, be cool about this.
Yeah.
And this is probably the first one of those where everyone did. like it was not like people were not like, where's my Breath of the Wild 2? Where's my Mario Odyssey? Where's my people were actually really cool about this one. So I was really happy about that actually.
Yeah. It seemed like they were hitting on a lot of big franchises that people love. We saw some Monster Hunter, we saw some Sonic. So I mean, people were still getting their fan favorites.
Yeah.
Their Rabbids, but even without having the mainstay Nintendo franchises pop up.
Yeah, and then they also had some surprise releases as well, which was pretty cool. Like, hey, out later today, you can play this game.
Do you know what those were?
I think one of them was like Noah, I want to say, was one of them. And it was a very cute looking, like side-scrolling, I think it's a Metroidvania, and you like recruit enemies that you defeat. And so there's one of those. There's a couple of demos that were just like, hey, yeah, later on today, you can get that. The Portal Collection was one of those later today.
That was so interesting to me when they showed a trailer for Portal. I was like, is there a new Portal coming out? Because I was like, how is Portal not already on Switch or everything? And I was like, cool. GLaDOS is still a great character.
Yeah.
I can't believe they haven't made a third Portal game.
That's classic.
They don't make
Classic
threes.
Valve.
They don't make anything with threes in their name.
They don't believe in trilogies.
They don't. They should,
We want
but they don't.
We want a Half-Life 3. We want a Portal 3. The Dota 3. They just don't do it.
Nope, they don't.
Speaking of sequels.
Okay.
Do it, Amanda.
And
Yeah,
third game.
Do it.
Is we got to see a trailer for Return to Monkey Island, which is so amazing. I say 3 because Ron Gilbert only worked on the first 2, and then this is like his third Monkey Island, so I know it's not the third Monkey Island game. Don't add me. I know that there have been 5 Monkey Island games, and then that 5th one was divided into multiple sections, and now this is like Monkey Island 6, but also 3, which is why it doesn't have a number, because they're probably trying to pretend those other games didn't happen.
That's why it's the return to
Monkey Island.
To Monkey Island.
Oh,
And this was the first that we
commentary.
actually saw of it as well. This is the first time we saw the art style,
Yeah, in
anything
motion.
from it.
Yes.
And so I know there was a lot of mixed opinions on the art style.
Yeah, a lot of people were wrong. It was really
I
tragic,
agree.
actually. Everyone's allowed to have their opinion. And
They are.
If the art style doesn't, jazz with you, then that's completely fine. But you are wrong.
You are considering pretty much every single Monkey Island game has had a different art style to it.
Yeah.
And so that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is a different art style. What did you expect?
It definitely feels like you had Monkey Island and it was 8-bit when it came out, and people, when they heard Ron Gilbert was working on a Monkey Island, it was like, beautiful, I'm gonna get like that nostalgic feeling for a Monkey Island game. And it was like, do you think they're gonna make an 8-bit game now? Like,
you know, that wasn't by like choice for them. That was just what they had.
they just did something cool and artistic with the tools that they were available to them. So it's like, of course they wouldn't do that again. Like, they're always like pushing the envelope for it to be like a little sillier, a little crazier, a little more artistic. So like when I saw the art tile, I was like, oh, this is exactly the vibe that I get from Monkey Island. Like, Murray looks amazing. But yeah, there was a huge backlash on the internet of people being like, it looks weird. They're like, heads are big and there are a lot of angles and I don't like it. But what,
it reminds me of the Double Fine game. I think you mentioned this, Amanda. Broken Age.
Yeah,
they're kind of angular, but they're definitely very rich. There's hard lines in the animation, but I just thought the whole entire visual presentation of it was super lush, and most importantly, it felt like Monkey Island.
Yeah.
That was the
vibe.
main thing for me. Yeah,
That's all that matters.
Yeah,
I was
hard to agree.
confused by people online being very agitated about it. I was like, but this like got the vibe. This literally, like, as soon as it started and he started talking, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. It brought me back to that place, even though it didn't look the exact same. It was still like, I don't know. It was still whimsical and fun, and I loved it.
The internet took it to weird places, like people.
That doesn't
online
sound
were
like the internet at all.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, this must have been a problem. They must have budget cuts. I wonder what happened that they had to do this." I was like, "Oh, maybe they lost some people or something." Like, they're implying that this was not intentional. But it was actually really sweet. Is the guy who voices Guybrush came onto Twitter and he was like, "Hey, I want you to know that people really worked really hard on this game and that they're actually really proud of it. And I, as the person who have always voiced Guybrush Threepwood, I'm extremely proud of it. I love the way that it looks." And it's like, and if you want to have your own opinion, then that's absolutely fine. But like, this didn't happen because of budget cuts. This wasn't a mistake. This was an intentional choice. And if you don't like it, just don't be a jerk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like, your opinion, awesome.
You're
but
allowed
like,
not to like it, but do not besmirch the talent
Yeah.
of the artists.
Yeah, it was like
'cause they
yes.
did their business here.
Some amazingly talented people made this game.
Yeah.
And also, like, how do you have that opinion? You haven't played it yet. Maybe the art style can have such an impact on the type of experience you have with a game.
Yeah.
So you may look at it and be like, and then you go to play it and you're like, oh, I see why, because this is perfect.
I thought it was
Right.
pretty great as well that this week, I think an interview came out where they were talking about Morimoto, his first reaction to Zelda Wind Waker, and how when they went intentionally with the art style, they're like, he's not going to like it. So they intentionally put off showing him what it looked like until they were too far into it.
That's
So when they
cute.
showed him,
Oops, too late.
they said he visibly cringed when he saw the art style because that's not what he was expecting at all. And so obviously he grew to love it, but yeah, like he also didn't like the art style, and a lot of people didn't like that.
I remember
Yeah.
this was the exact same kind of thing.
Yeah.
And people were losing their mind about the cell shadedness of Zelda, and like all I kept thinking to myself when I saw it was like, I don't care. It looks really fun.
I have to admit that I was very angry the first time they showed us Wind Waker. And not because, like, on its own, Wind Waker didn't look wonderful. It was I had played the one that came out before that was Ocarina of Time. Yeah. And then they had showed us like a preview of a model of what Link was going to look like in the next game, and it was beautiful. Like, we remember Ocarina of Time, he has like the triangle nose, and then Epona's like, I don't know, like 6 shapes. And then they showed you like a Super Smash Brothers modern style Link. And I was like, I am so excited to play that version of Link. And then the next time, and I was like following it in Game Informer and stuff.
Yeah.
The next time you saw him, it was Link from Wind Waker. And it just felt like a
Chibi Link.
slap in the face to be like, and granted, Wind Waker is a beautiful game. They absolutely shouldn't change a thing about that. But it was just like that juxtaposition. It did take me a while to like get over
the expectation.
Yeah.
The problem was that they didn't make it clear enough that the link that you saw beforehand was a tech demo of what the GameCube could do, and they didn't make that clear enough, especially to like magazines and
It was on
other
purpose.
things that was going.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Oh, no. Sure
it's like
was.
we kept hearing like the new Zelda that was going to be like open world and everything. We heard about that for like 15 years. There was on purpose.
They knew.
Yeah.
They knew.
They did. They
knew.
did. But yeah, that was the thing. And I agree. I think that's what happened.
But I get Monkey Island being a bit of that. It's like you have your Monkey Island, whichever one it is, and when a new one comes out, you're like, oh, I want it to be the one that I fell in love with. But like this one is not going to be that game, but it doesn't mean it's not going to be amazing.
Yeah, especially because there has been so many newer games that has gorgeous pixel art.
Yeah.
That's probably what those people were expecting.
But Monkey Island hasn't been pixel in a really long time, and they
Agreed.
even redid the original pixel ones, so they're not pixel anymore. So I don't know.
It is what it is.
If you wanted Monkey Island to look differently, jump into our Discord and tell us what you wanted it to look like.
We're gonna have an active Discord this week.
Respectfully.
Respectfully. It was. I think it had a release date for September or November of this year.
I thought it was October.
Let's go with October.
Let's go with October.
Let's go with
But I don't
October
know.
2022.
You know what? I'll do a tiny bit of research, even though it's the summer.
But another game that they showed off, I think it was immediately after that, was more of Mario plus Rabbids.
Brian, they didn't show a game after that. It ended after that. You guys didn't see stars? Nope, just
In the house, I heard it. Ah! And then that was
funny
it.
you
And then a whole
say
bunch of
that.
birds flew away from Amanda's head.
And I woke up 12 hours later.
It's funny you say Rabbids because I think that's actually the game that comes out in October.
It's October 20th is Rabbids. That's why I went to
That's
it. Yeah.
correct.
Yes. But they showed off more of that gameplay, and they showed off what you could do with it and the actual tactical nature of it. They were actually showing off the gameplay of it versus the story, which is what they showed off previously to this.
Is that Rabbids 2 or Rabbids 3?
This is 2.
Two.
Two,
This is
okay.
the
Yeah,
second
Mario
one.
Rabbids 2.
I
Sparks
played
of
the
Hope.
first one, and I didn't know if
Sparks
I
of Hope.
missed one or if I remembered seeing previews for the second one, but it wasn't out yet.
There was downloadable content for it that was actually solid, which
Yes.
is probably
Yeah,
why.
and then they
'cause
re-released it as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
So.
just Peach as a rabbit was worth
Oh.
every
Oh,
moment
yeah.
of being in that
it was
game.
everything.
Very fun, very silly game, which
It
is
is.
great because it then like meshes with that tactical nature.
Yeah.
which is a very serious type of gameplay, very thoughtful, prodding gameplay, and then you have the rabbits just screaming. It's a great idea.
Man, you know how in these games normally like you can lose people, like they die and you don't get them back? Can you imagine if the rabbits could dramatically die between battles?
Like maybe Fire Emblem and rabbits to cross together.
They get hit with a plunger and then they make like that old timey actor death where they like stumble and then stumble and then stumble and then fall and then like reach their hand up and then fall again.
That would be amazing because it would still work in the universe because then just another rabbit would walk up, pick up the clothes,
Yes!
put them on, and then they're still good.
In Fire Emblem, there's a graveyard though for characters that do pass away.
Yes, there
And
is.
I don't know why, but I really want to see what a rabbit tombstone looks like. It'd be so cute.
We haven't seen. We've
Just two
seen
giant ears sticking out of
Oh
the
my
ground.
gosh. We've
One's
seen-
floppy.
We've seen zombie rabbits before, right? I'm not just imagining.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanna
That
say
sounds
yes.
familiar.
Actually, in Mario Rabbids, I think there's an area where it's like the undead ghost area, and there's some zombified.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great. But
So
yeah,
I don't think rabbits would stay dead.
No, I agree. They get plungered and then they get back up.
There you
yeah.
go.
Oh, absolutely. And then, but then they had a separate the day after that.
Yes, they did.
Ubisoft did its own specifically for
They went
this
deeper?
game.
Oh,
yes,
it's 28, another 28 minutes or 23 minutes.
Yeah.
Wowzer.
Just about. Oh my, it was so good. It was so good.
They don't gotta do that. I mean, we're gonna buy it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was buying it when they showed it off last year. I was like, and we're done now. I will be playing that Rabbids game till the end of time again.
Do you guys have like a tipping point with games? Because like I love seeing the games that I want to see previewed, and I love seeing
Yes.
their initial trailer. But anything like I definitely get to a place where I'm like, stop showing this to me.
Yeah.
Like Deathloop being, you know, the one extreme,
Yes.
and then like no content being the other extreme. I like about a 3.
I get
and after
that.
I'm bought in, I'm like, don't show me anymore.
I get that with game previews and also like television movie trailers. Like if I get halfway through a trailer that I haven't heard of and I'm sold, I go like, cool, and then I just move on. I'm like, you sold me. You did what you needed to do. I will watch you, buy you, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You've achieved your purpose.
It doesn't happen with me with games as much. I think Deathloop really was like you said, the extreme for that. But for me, it truly is just movies. Like movies, also, I didn't think it really was that until a couple of movies where it's just like, oh, this trailer really was just the movie, y'all.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You know, to be honest, I don't think it affects me so much in games as well. I think I will just kind of watch through a game because like games are so different
they're personal.
Like a trailer for a game is so different than playing a game.
Yes.
That even just watching it, it's like, all right, you have to work so hard for me to even understand what playing this game is. Whereas like the movie stuff, it's like, I get it, I'm good, I'm sold. But for games, it may take me a little longer.
I feel like
I may not have a tipping point as much on that one.
I feel like for games, they'll talk me out of a game sometimes. Where I'm
Really?
like, oh, I
You
love
just
that
see
game
too
and I'm going to
much?
get that. And then you'll see more of it and you're like, nah, I'm not playing that.
I think I'm there because I feel like for movies and TV shows, it doesn't really do much to me.
Yeah.
I don't care how many trailers I see. It's not going to ruin anything.
Yeah.
But for games, on the other hand, I'll see a trailer if it's cinematic and there's no gameplay whatsoever, or whatever. And if they continue just showing cinematic trailers, it'll probably be fine. But the
Yeah.
moment they show the gameplay that pairs with the cinematic stuff, or if they start with cinematic and then they go to gameplay too soon, I'm like, ooh, I don't know about that, guys.
Should've
Maybe the
let me live in
style is
Dreamland
that.
a little longer.
Right, you would have got my money had I
Yeah.
lived in Dreamland. But it's also, I think, what is that? A Starfleet that's coming out? Is that the one that was supposed to come out in November of this year? The Xbox game, from Bethesda.
Oh,
What
no,
the
no,
heck is it
no.
called? What the heck is it called? It's,
That's Starfield.
Starfield.
Oh,
Thank you.
yes, yes, yes.
Starfield's a really great example of almost death looping it for me. Deathloop truly is probably one of the only games that I was super hyped to see. First, not to play, to watch people play. And then I really wanted to play it. And then I kept seeing stuff for it. And I'm like, I just don't know if I want to play this anymore. And then the only reason I ended up with it, because there was like a Black Friday sale.
Yeah.
And it was really cheap. And I was like, sure, I'll play it now. But like I didn't really want to play the game anymore by the time it came out. Starfield is getting to that place where it's like, I really want to watch somebody play it. Please just show me what it looks like so I know if I actually want to play or if I want
Yeah.
to watch somebody play this game. And then they finally, like, it had been a while, and they finally showed us footage of the game. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not playing that. I'll watch somebody play that.
Joe and
But I'm
I
like,
are in the same boat with
yeah,
Starfield.
like no,
Yeah.
that could have been something I would have played. And then when they started showing, I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna No Man's Sky myself out of here. No, thank
I
you.
do
I feel
appreciate
like-
But I love
that.
No Man's Sky. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
It's not for me. It's not for me to play.
Yeah.
It's for me to watch.
I do appreciate that because like I'll definitely see a trailer for a game and it'll have amazing art style. This cutscene is just blowing me away, and then they show the gameplay and it's a Metroidvania or something, which I don't
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
And then I'm actually more just like, thank you, thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that.
The only trailers that are always an exception, obviously Dragon Age because it's my favorite game, but also Destiny. And for the same reason is when we played Destiny and a Destiny trailer came out, and the same thing happens as when Dragon Age trailers comes out, is I will watch that trailer over and over again and then pick little pieces out of it because the game has so much like depth and nuance. It's like, did you see that one scene with the thing, and then in the background there was like a little jar and it was like obviously a refectory for these like the other things that are in the thing. And then Destiny's the same way. It's like, oh, did you see that? Definitely like the Taken and the Queen and the Fiat and in the background and the little pieces and just armpits.
And they're for two different reasons though, because for Dragon Age they like shove that story at you. They are punching you in the face with that story.
There's lore.
That's
and
what it is.
Every object in the background has like a backstory and like millions of years of lore.
Whereas
yeah.
Destiny, it's like, where's the story? Okay, there's the story. Okay, wait, is that the queen? Okay, that is the queen. Is that the queen? Okay, that's the queen's brother. All right, cool. All right, and then is that the thing? All right, maybe that's it. Maybe it's the thing. Let me get the binoculars out. Like it's the exact opposite.
Dragon Age is a buffet, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to feast on all of the glorious foods. And then Destiny is like, you've just been starving for so long. You're like, please, any crumb that you can give to us, please, to put in my face.
And we'll be happy for it.
Yes. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about today is today is the last day of Pride Month. And so a lot of companies have been coming out with like their last like hurrahs of like little bits of art that they've been doing for it, or little snippets of it. And yeah, I wanted to like, highlight some of the companies if you saw any of them doing it. One of the ones I noticed today, which I thought was hilarious because of some of the comments I saw underneath it, was like Naughty Dog released some artwork of like two different characters. It was two young ladies. And one of them was wearing a Pride shirt. The other one was wearing, I forget what the other shirt it was. But, they're obviously together. And so a couple of the comments were like, oh, Naughty Dog, just shoving this down our throats. I was like, Naughty Dog,
Wait,
Last
what?
of Us 2.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog, like that entire, that's the entire game.
The game main character.
What are you talking about?
Like, what?
And I looked, and yeah, that's all people were commenting underneath that one. It's like, yeah, what?
Did you play the last game?
Right? It was hilarious to me.
Did you not think they were together?
Right? They're just good friends.
Really good friends.
The internet's a weird place.
It is,
People who
isn't
don't
it?
play the things and don't watch the things and don't read the things have the most to say about how the things should be.
The internet, baby.
So angry.
They get agita.
So angry.
Yeah, that was hilarious to me.
Side note, speaking of that mentality, the Overwatch 2 beta came out this week.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not playing it. You have to like buy in to get to the beta.
Okay.
Oh, that's
I'll
right.
wait till it's out, but I'm watching a lot of videos on it. But the thing that's cracking me up, same vein as the internet, is that like they made changes to the characters, and people are just like, they've broken Mercy, they've broken Symmetra, they're ruined. How could they do this to this character? And I'm like, you're literally in a beta. Like, this is literally not final. Even when it is final, it's not final.
No.
How are you so absolute with your anger in this moment? You know you're in a beta.
Isn't that what betas are for breaking
Yeah.
things?
Or just
Exactly.
like, hey, I want to test to see if this is balanced. Oh, it's not balanced. Okay, we'll have to make corrections.
Yeah.
It still works from Blizzard's standpoint because the people make a lot of noise and they're like, all right, let's look at this change. A lot of people seem very angry over it. But the way that they're angry is just like, there's no way they're going to fix this. Like, this is the end. There's never going back. I'm like, it's a beta. You bought into.
To return it a bit to the Pride Month posting, is I've been following a lot of things on Twitter, and I noticed a trend, and maybe this has been happening for the last few years, but it really stood out to me this year, is normally what I'm used to seeing is people taking like their company logos and then making them pride colored and being
Yeah.
like, hey, you know, we support all of the peoples. And what I've been seeing more this year, which I really enjoyed, is more games have characters that are LGBTQ plus. So it's just like, hey, instead of we made art specifically for Pride Month, it's like, oh no, these are the characters in the game that we were making regardless of what month it is. And they just,
Yes.
and
I love it.
Yeah, and it's amazing to be like, just run through, scroll forever of all of these characters.
Yeah, I'd rather see like that type of robust intentionality in the games over like just making a rainbow logo. And
Right,
being like, that's
right.
it. Good
High
enough.
fives around.
It's like the Halo logo, but now it's rainbow. And it's like, well, that's not
It's like, no,
the
incorporate this into your game.
Yeah.
Make it, normalized.
Yeah,
Make it
exactly.
real.
Because as soon as July 1st comes around, that's gone. Like, whereas with these characters, it's the game. Like, they're just
It's
who
just
they
nice.
are.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's great. It's been a great month. And
It's been a fine.
it's been a
month.
fine month. Yes, you're
It's-
right.
We don't normally get very political on the
True.
Taste of Dragons podcast, but I have to say Pride Month was a little overshadowed
A little.
by
By some-
recent events. The overturning of Roe v. Wade was
I'm
absolutely
still
devastating.
stunned.
I
Like,
agree.
it's surreal to me
Yeah.
right now. Like, that's a reality that I'm living
If our political leanings weren't absolutely obvious, we're not happy with the outcome of events.
I feel like our politicalness aside, I feel like we are just human beings who want everyone to have the same rights that we should all have.
Yeah.
And I feel like that there's unfortunately an odd political nature to that when I feel like there's just really that shouldn't be something on the table for anyone. Everyone should be equal. Everyone
can't-
should have rights. Everyone
can't-
should.
Do you? Okay.
It's confusing to me why anyone would think that that's not okay. It's just
Yeah.
It's strange.
But there is word about some game companies that are
This is I don't want to use the phrase silver lining because that underlines the absolute devastating nature of the things that happened
right.
this month.
No.
But it is in a time of great tragedy really a comfort to see video game companies come out in mass to say, we support people and their reproductive rights. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of companies that I've seen,
Yeah.
but it's I mostly follow indies, and the amount of indie game companies, which is saying a lot because as an indie studio, like you want people
you're-
to purchase your game,
you're
and
putting
they have a
yourself
lot
out
to
there.
alienating
lose.
part of your
Yeah.
life.
Right,
So,
they
but
do.
like this is so important. Just seeing the amount of companies that came out and be
Yeah.
like, we are supportive of reproductive
in
rights.
in the video
and
game
body
industry
autonomy.
and outside, it's been really cool to see companies like straight up putting new plans into like their healthcare systems for their employees that will help cover them within these new
Yeah, there was I forget
potential laws that are dropping everywhere.
I forget which video game company it was, but there was one video game company that basically would pay for your travel expenses if you had to go out of state to have a procedure that was
that's right.
illegal
Exactly,
in
yeah.
your state.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
there's
right.
Yeah.
quite a few companies that are stepping up. I think Netflix is doing that too. I think
Dick's
Amazon.
Sporting Goods, a couple other ones, and like I think Dick's was like specifically like, yeah, we'll put $4,000 down for you, like up to $4,000, we got you, and it's like, damn, and it's nice that these companies are doing it. And it's nice that it's happening, but it's terrible that they have to,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's the crux of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I do love that the companies are coming out and like you said, they're actually saying it out loud, and it's just like, yeah, if you don't like it, well, it's like, okay, we don't want your money. Like, like this ain't the game for you. This ain't the game company for you. These are rights. These are not even like opinions. These should be rights.
Right.
So we're all collectively going through it right now, podcasters and game companies alike, and we'll continue to go through it.
And if you're having a hard time out there, we're sending you our loves and our good
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah.
And then virtual hugs.
Absolutely.
If you need a little pick me up, seriously, pop by our Discord. We'll hit hearts on everything. We got you.
And we all are on the Discord, and even if you don't want to put it out there, we have our little names on the right. If you see any of them that say Elder Dragon or anything that's at the top, you can DM us. We got
Ooh.
you.
All right,
All
Brian.
right.
We'll be your cheerleaders. We got you.
Cheerleaders.
Yeah. So, but I think that will do it for this week's episode, everyone.
That'll do.
That will
do,
do.
donkey.
And
Sweet Shrek reference. Why did Shrek pop into my
and
head?
then I also love how you congratulated yourself
Yeah.
for your own
You,
reference.
you had a reference that you gave up on halfway through. Congratulate yourself on, and then drew attention to your poor reference.
You tipped your hat and then went to good day, son.
Great. Now, what is Brian going to rate this episode? Dang it, Troy.
Although, you know what? You just set up for this bit.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
I see what you did it on purpose so that
right.
I could comment on it, and then it was a bit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
It was all
get it.
planned.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
here
all
for
part
you.
of the plan.
That's right. Sacrifice
Yeah.
myself for the art. What can I say?
But if you would like to talk with us more, like we said, Discord, we got the Twitter, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have all the channels.
We're on Twitch twice a week,
twice a
Tuesday evenings and Saturday evenings.
That's right. We'll be on there. So we're always at Taste of Dragons everywhere. And talk to us. We got you. But as always, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
Amanda.
And I'm Joe.
And we are
The Taste of Dragons.
Have a great week, everyone.
That's right.
I'm still really jazzed. I'm jazzed. I don't know why I
What?
keep saying that. I'm still really chuffed. I still think it's
Chip?
very funny.
Spit?
Your Shrek reference. I can't talk either, and I'm enjoying.
Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast, a podcast for everyone's taste.